Tonight's Heart of America shows us strength, determination, and love in the midst of destruction from Hurricane Helene.
Welcome to News English Explained. Today, we're talking about a touching story of determination and love in the midst of destruction from Hurricane Helene. In this lesson, we'll watch the story with subtitles, then dive into an explanation of the vocabulary and phrases used. Afterward, we'll have a short quiz to test your understanding, followed by a final review of the story without subtitles. As always, let's get started by watching the news story with subtitles.
Tonight's Heart of America shows us strength, determination, and love in the midst of destruction from Hurricane Helene. David Jones was driving from South Carolina to Tennessee for his daughter's wedding when the highway shut down. A 2-hour drive became a treacherous 12-and-a-half-hour journey. Get this, David walked about 17 miles through water and mud up to his knees and climbed through piles of debris, but he made it.
My daughter's getting married at 11 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to be there to walk her down the aisle.
That's so emotionally moving that my dad loves me that much that he would come and go through all of that to get to my wedding.
He picked up a reflective stake along the way to keep him safe in the dark. He gave it to the couple, telling them to use it as a reminder to protect each other. So the power of a father's love. David Jones is tonight's Heart of America. I don't know, it just makes me so emotional. That's tonight's EV News. Good night.
The news anchor begins the story by introducing us to a man named David Jones, who was determined to make it to his daughter's wedding despite the chaos caused by Hurricane Helene. Determination refers to the quality of being firm in your purpose, not giving up easily. For example, with great determination, she finished the marathon despite being exhausted, or his determination to succeed drove him to work hard every day. In this case, David's determination allowed him to overcome all the challenges he faced to make it to his daughter's wedding. David was driving from South Carolina to Tennessee to attend his daughter's wedding. But his journey didn't go as planned. The highway was shut down because of the destruction caused by Hurricane Helene. Now, the word shut down means to close or stop operating. It can be used in various contexts. For example, the factory was shut down due to safety concerns, or the computer suddenly shut down after the power outage. In this story, the highway was closed because it was no longer safe to use. We also hear the phrase, a 2-hour drive became a treacherous 12-and-a-half-hour journey. Let's talk about the word treacherous. When something is treacherous, it is dangerous or unsafe. In the context of the story, the highway was treacherous because it was flooded and covered with debris. For example, the icy roads made driving treacherous last night, or crossing the river during the storm was treacherous. This word is often used to describe difficult and risky situations, especially involving nature. The anchor continues by explaining that David walked about 17 miles through water and mud, up to his knees. Here, the phrase up to his knees describes the depth of the water and mud David had to wade through. In English, we often use this phrase to describe being deeply involved in something, not just physically, but figuratively too. For example, I'm up to my knees in work means you are very busy with work, as if you're surrounded by it. Next, David had to climb through piles of debris. Debris refers to broken pieces or fragments left after destruction, like the aftermath of a storm or an explosion. In this case, the debris came from a hurricane, broken trees, signs, and other materials scattered across the highway. An example would be, the streets were covered in debris after the tornado. We often see debris after natural disasters or accidents. David's daughter is then quoted as saying, "It's so emotionally moving that my dad loves me that much." Let's look at emotionally moving. Something that is emotionally moving makes you feel strong emotions, usually of happiness, sadness, or admiration. For example, the speech at the graduation ceremony was so emotionally moving, it brought many people to tears. Or, the movie's ending was emotionally moving and left a lasting impact on the audience. David's journey to his daughter's wedding moved her deeply because it showed how much he cared. The news anchor also mentions that David picked up a reflective stake to keep him safe in the dark. Let's break this down. A reflective stake is an object that reflects light, often used to mark paths or boundaries at night. The word reflective means that it bounces back light. For example, the reflective vest made it easy for cars to see the runner at night. And a stake is a pole or stick driven into the ground. In this case, David used the reflective stake as a tool to guide him through the darkness safely. David later gave the reflective stake to the couple, telling them to use it as a reminder to protect each other. The phrase, "a reminder to protect each other," is key here. A reminder is something that helps you remember to do something. In this case, the reflective stake symbolized the importance of caring for one another in their marriage, even during tough times. An example sentence would be, "The bracelet she gave me is a reminder of our friendship," or "He kept a photo on his desk as a reminder of his goals." The news anchor concludes by saying, "The power of a father's love, David Jones, is tonight's heart of America." Here, we see the phrase, "the power of a father's love." In English, we often use the word power to talk about the strength of emotions, such as love, determination, or willpower. For example, the power of friendship helped them overcome their struggles, or the power of hope can keep people going even in difficult times. In this story, it highlights just how far David was willing to go for his daughter. Getting back to the story, let's look at the phrase "to walk her down the aisle." In English-speaking cultures, this is a traditional part of weddings, where the father of the bride escorts his daughter to the front of the venue, symbolizing the act of giving her away in marriage. For example, her father walked her down the aisle while the guests stood and watched. This phrase is almost always used in the context of weddings. Now that we've explored the vocabulary and phrases from this touching story, it's time to move on to the quiz. The best way to solidify your understanding of new words is by using them. So, let's test your knowledge with 3 short answer questions. In this section, we'll give you 3 short answer questions based on the story we just discussed. Pause the video after each question and try to answer using the vocabulary and phrases we just learned. Ready? Let's begin. Question 1. What made David Jones's journey to his daughter's wedding so difficult? Pause the video and take a moment to answer. Answer. David's journey was made difficult by Hurricane Helene, which caused road closures, flooding, and piles of debris. He had to walk 17 miles through dangerous conditions, including water and mud up to his knees. Question 2. Why did David give the reflective stake to the couple, and what did it symbolize? Pause the video and take a moment to answer. Answer. David gave the reflective stake to the couple as a symbol of protection and care, reminding them to always look out for each other in their marriage, just like he used it to guide himself safely through the dark. Question 3. Why was David's daughter so emotionally moved by his journey? Pause the video and take a moment to answer. Answer. David's daughter was emotionally moved because her father went through incredible hardships to be there for her wedding, showing how much he loved her. She was touched by the lengths he was willing to go for her special day. Great job! Now we'll watch the news story one more time. this time without subtitles, to practice listening comprehension.
Tonight's Heart of America shows us strength, determination, and love in the midst of destruction from Hurricane Helene. David Jones was driving from South Carolina to Tennessee for his daughter's wedding when the highway shut down. A 2-hour drive became a treacherous 12-and-a-half-hour journey. Get this, David walked about 17 miles through water and mud up to his knees and climbed through piles of debris, but he made it.
My daughter's getting married at 11 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to be there to walk her down the aisle.
That's so emotionally moving that my dad loves me that much that he would come and go through all of that to get to my wedding.
He picked up a reflective stake along the way to keep him safe in the dark. He gave it to the couple, telling them to use it as a reminder to protect each other. So the power of a father's love. David Jones is tonight's Heart of America. I don't know, it just makes me so emotional. That's tonight's EV News.
And that's the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to try using one of the new vocabulary words we learned today. Maybe you can reflect on a treacherous journey you've been on recently. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more lessons like this. See you next time.